Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/music. That's ethos.com.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Your heart beats for generations. Take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take the smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a to-go card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Do you have a personal financial goal like buying a car, starting a business, saving for college, or investing for retirement? Whatever your goal is, you need a plan. It might seem overwhelming, but like physical fitness, you can gradually improve your financial health step by step. Start by creating a spending plan, improving your credit score, opening a bank account, or finding a trusted advisor. Not sure where to start? Visit mn.gov/commerce/money for more. With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. A slight chance of rain in the evening with an overnight low of 60, then Friday cloudy with a high of 76. MIWRC's Real Roast Beef is an East Metro treasure with the best roast beef sandwiches in the Twin Cities and so much more. MIWRC's is located in Roseville on Lexington Avenue, 1 mile south of Highway 36. Visit their website at MIWRCsbeef.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, I want to get our friend Robert Lilligren on right away, Native American Community Development Institute CEO. Welcome, as always, Robert. Thank you so much for coming on. You're looking good. I like how
Who's you, Robert? Yeah, sorry, I just washed my hair, and with all this humidity, it's pretty big.
Hey, I just gotta tell our listening audience this Saturday at 1:00, Native Roots Radio will be at Pride, and we are really, really happy. The whole station's going to be there, AM 950. They're going to have wall-to-wall coverage, and I have a announcement to make. Not only is Jace Rowe or Auntie Jace going to be with us for the hour, but rumor has it Robert Lilligren is going to be too.
I will be there, and I haven't shared space with Jace Rowe for a while, so it'll be nice to see him.
Great, and it'll be just kind of like what we're doing now, and having conversation, and I really love how Native Roots Radio, but especially AM 950, stepping up and supporting our community, our relatives in a good way, being at Pride.
I agree, and it's exciting. I haven't been down to the park for a couple of years just because of stuff, so I'm looking forward to spending some time at the park. For folks who aren't from here, Gay Pride is one of the largest celebrations and festivals in Minneapolis, in the Twin Cities. It's massive, and so our big kind of central park, which is Loring Park, is where the exhibitors are, and there's hundreds and hundreds of them. And then on Sunday, we'll have the Ashley Rook's Gay Pride Festival, or parade rather. And that's a massive parade that goes right down Hennepin Avenue, which is our theater district here in Minneapolis. And it's something.
It is. And this is the 50th season or 51st season, I believe. I think last year was the 50th.
I think you're right. Don't quote me on that, but I think you're right. I think it was last year.
Yeah, and I remember kind of the history, and the history was it was just a few people that started this,
Right.
and it was really standing up for community, and it's turned into a celebration, but I think it's morphing back to standing up for community and celebrating.
I think you're right. So I marched in my first Pride march. It was a march more than a parade, more like a protest back in 1979.
Wow.
So I haven't been at every year of 50 years, but dang close. And it was much more a protest march. There was probably, a couple, maybe 1,000 people marching, and maybe 2,000 people down in the park, one little stage, and it was kind of led by the drag queens, which was nice and kind of appropriate for the movement, and very different scale from now, where this will attract 1 million people. The park is completely full of exhibitors, and the parade lasts a very long time, but we'll see this year. It's different, like you said, Robert, and it seems to be going back to more of these kind of community, almost protest roots. We've had some of our major corporations are not going to be participating, most notably Target, who were uninvited when they announced their end of their DEI initiatives, but I don't know if they would have been there anyway. And so we're kind of seeing who our real friends and allies are, and I suspect it won't be quite the same this year, and I think that that's okay.
It definitely is okay, and the amount of money that Target put up to support the parade has already been quadrupled through community and small businesses. So, and Target made a huge mistake, and they're still paying for it if you look at their stock price. So community matters, and speaking up matters, and reaching and resisting. And we always talk about that, Robert.
Right. And Target is a local company, right? Started right here, headquartered right here. And to me, it's also about what are our values, and is it Target's responsibility to reflect our values here? And I'd say, yeah, it is. And I haven't shopped at Target since they stopped their DEI, and I thought it would be hard, and it hasn't been. And there's plenty of friendlier places to spend my money.
That's such a good point too, and we haven't either, and I haven't really noticed it, and but that's part of the resistance, and that's the things that we've been talking about for a couple weeks here since the march at the Capitol. Is that we only need 3.5% of the population to overthrow a bad government.
Right. And and we kind of knew, right, when Trump got elected for the second term, with a plurality, not a majority. The majority of voters didn't vote, and that's one of the reasons he was elected. He has no mandate to govern in this country, And I think it's important for us to keep saying that, because the narrative, of course, that the White House pushes out is that it was a landslide and he has a mandate to do what he's doing. And that is just a lie. And so it is about resistance. And we talked about this back then, right after he got elected, before he even took office. You know, Native people, we're the resistance people, right? We're only here today, you and I and all of our relatives, because our ancestors resisted. And so this doesn't feel that unusual to us. I know it feels unusual to others, and some people are having an even harder time with this. And this is a strength of Native people and Indigenous people. And I feel like this is a real moment for Indigenous values, Native values to really lead and be in the forefront of the resistance.
Yeah, absolutely. And just great words. And we can, well, let me switch gears here. In this first segment, we got a couple minutes here, and we were not able to talk after the murder of, and I'm sure you knew Miss Hartman and her husband over the years. And I'd like to talk just a little bit about that, because the news cycle is 24 hours, but we don't believe that here. We need to talk about what we're talking about, and also talk about this real mega right-wing assassination.
Right. So for folks who might not know, former Speaker of our state house, Melissa Hartman, was assassinated, and I think it's right to use that word, along with her husband and their family dog, which is kind of unusual. There was another attack on a state senator that night. He and his wife were shot 17 times between the two of them, and they're surviving, which is amazing. And there was a right-wing character, and I'm not even going to name him. I'm tired of hearing this name, but anti-abortion, fundamentalist, evangelical preacher with a lot of guns and a lot of anger, who had a list of people he was going to shoot. He also went to two other legislators' homes that night. One happened not to be home, providential, and then the police were proactively already checking on her at home, and so that scared him off. So it could have been a lot worse, but still, we lost Melissa Hartman, her husband, and she was a powerful politician, and I knew her. We were in enough conversations or served at enough tables together. I didn't know her as well as some people, and it's so tragic, and it just shows us what a president like Trump, who stirs up all this sort of violent feeling, people are going to act on that. And so I lay this firmly at the door of the president of the MAGA movement, of the evangelical, the Christian nationalist movement, and it's been really sad here. It's been sad.
It really has. Hey, we're here with Robert Lilligren, Native American Community Development Institute CEO, and our friend, and also our not anymore secret guest here on Saturday at Pride. We'll be right back after this short message.
Rudy Luther Toyota is the dealer you can trust. Go to rudyluthertoyota.com to browse their inventory of new and certified pre-owned vehicles. Style, performance, and reliability. You can find it all at Rudy Luther. With every new and certified pre-owned vehicle, you'll get a Luther Advantage card, save 10 cents per gallon at the pump, and get $6 Works car washes at holiday station stores. That's right. You can get a great vehicle and help stretch your budget even further. Rudy Luther Toyota, the southeast corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is so many things. It beats all the time, and it works very hard to keep you moving through your day, keeping your thoughts clear. It's the most important organ in your body.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. Taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats. That's hennepin.us/heart-beats.
What does it mean to begin? Creation Story explores Native origin stories through powerful contemporary art, connecting past and present with every brushstroke in sculpture. Explore how identity, culture, and resilience are shaped through art. Creation Story, now at All My Relations Arts through July 26th. This exhibition invites you to the heart of the Ochate Shikoin storytelling, where spiritual relatives guide the way. Open to all. Learn more at allmyrelationsarts.org. Experience the beginning. Experience Creation Story at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, we are back with our friend Robert Lilligren, Native American Community Development Institute CEO, and our great friend. And again, as you heard at the end of the first segment, our secret guest that will be at Pride this weekend on Saturday at 1 o'clock. We are so excited to have you and just see the people. What's really going to be fun too, Robert, is there are going to be seats out there and people that listen to AM 950 and to our show will be there and be able to meet you and meet and greet, and it'll be a lot of fun.
I love it. Yeah, it always surprises me going through the community how many people will come up, Native and non-Native people, and say, "Oh, I was listening to you on Native Roots Radio." Or I actually recently had someone say, I'd never met you in person, but I recognize your voice from Native Roots Radio. So people actually are listening. Appreciate that.
Okay, everyone note Robert's surprised that people are listening.
Listening to me, not you, Robert. I'm sure they flock to listen to you.
No, but I get the same thing, and the total surprise is like, oh yeah, hey, yeah, thank you. It's almost embarrassing because we do this daily and you do it weekly, and we don't always know that. So yeah, please come up and say hi. It's really a big thing for me. I want to switch.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robert. Before you go on, I gotta say I love whoever pulled that photo of me that you're showing on the feed, on the live feed. It's my right now, I think it's my Facebook profile photo, but it's from a Pride parade a few years back. And what I love about it is it's so loud, right?
Yeah.
There's no sound effect, but you can tell there's noise going on.
Yeah, I pulled that myself. Hey, speaking of Native American Community Development Institute, I just kind of want to switch gears here. And I know one of the offshoots and the great work, yearly work, not just during elections, but make voting a tradition, was at this mayoral kind of open, I don't know, was it a debate or?
It was a forum. I would call it a forum.
Uh-huh.
And that was last night at the American Indian OIC, a great partner in doing this kind of voter engagement work. So Make Voting a Tradition is about a 10-year long project at NACDI. It's about engaging people in voting, but also engaging them in the public governance process, right? Holding elected people accountable, educating people about what government does, how it touches you. So this year in Minneapolis, it's a municipal election year. The mayor, all the city council, park board, and some other offices, municipal offices, are on the ballot. And it's a little harder sometimes to get people kind of moving during an op-year election. But I will say this, Robert, even our national partners and funders realize that you can't just show up in a big election year, right? You got to keep investing in these efforts throughout the year. And so it's been a little easier this year as far as resources go. But last night we had a mayoral candidates forum at the American Indian OIC here. NACDI was the lead sponsor, but several community partners like you do. All 7 of the declared mayoral candidates RSVP'd that they'd be there. One didn't show up, which, is how it goes. He's a Republican, and my guess is he wouldn't get a lot of support out of the community anyway. But our incumbent sitting mayor and 5 of his challengers were there. And it was great. It was really, really dynamic. The League of Women Voters were a partner as well, and they give a lot of good structure and coaching to the organizers and to the moderator. And yeah, I was there for the full 2.5 hours. And Powwow Grounds food truck Fry Bread Factory was there as well. People got fed. The community got fed. Our unsheltered relatives who were hanging around got fed. But a lot of people in the audience, I was talking to them and from the community, and they had never been to a mayoral forum before. And, you know, one of my young Ho-Chunk women said, I'm used to just finding my information out online about the candidates. And she said it was really great to see them all before us, you know, and answering these kind of tough questions that came out of the community.
I heard the mayor, and I always used to call him the boy mayor, but he's getting older now. He was pulling out some Ojibwe there on speaking a little bit there.
Well, right. He says, Bonjour and Indinomeganada, hello, my relatives.
Cool.
And our mayor, Jacob Fry, has a real knack for languages. I've heard him speak Somali and other languages. And we were at an event at Little Earth of United Tribes here in Minneapolis. And I was standing with him, and he was getting ready to speak. And this is early in his term as mayor, his first term. And he said, Robert, what are they saying? What are they saying after Bonjour? And I said, oh, they're saying Indinomeganada. It means all my relatives. I said, it doesn't just mean the people standing here. It's the sky, the earth, the plants, everything. And his sister, his aide that was with them, kind of handling that, they started crying. She's like, that's so beautiful. But he goes, say it again. And I said, Indinomeganada. I said, but it's kind of a hard word. I had to practice for weeks. He goes, no, I'm good at languages. Say it one more time. So then he steps up to the microphone and he goes, Bonjour, it says it just perfectly. I was standing there with Christine McDonald, who hosts Minneapolis Air. And we were both just like, whoa, that was really good. But here's the thing, Robert, this is Dakota land. And so we've urged him since then to learn a little Dakota, greet people in Dakota. And some of the Dakota leadership here is a little touchy about it, and I don't blame them. It's like, yeah, he's standing on Dakota land. He should be speaking in Dakota as well. I agree.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, I think one of the things, and I don't live in Minneapolis, but I think one of the things about him is he does try. You know, he may not succeed in a lot of things or understand a lot of things, but that's kind of an example of him trying.
I agree. And one of the things that came up, of course, were issues of our unsheltered relatives and our opioid using relatives. These were a lot of the questions were, not a lot, but some of the questions were around that. And there's enough ambivalence and disagreement within the community that it's hard for an elected official, a mayor, or anyone to really understand and embrace the community's position. And so through some of our work in the community, through the Metropolitan Urban Indian Directors and our Unsheltered and Opioid Subcommittee through Metropolitan Urban Indian Directors, or MUD is what we call it, MUID, we're trying to define that so we can share it out. And one of our big topics right now is harm reduction, right? And it's a divisive and polarizing issue within the community. And some people feel like harm reduction models are enabling. Some people feel like, well, if someone dies from an overdose, you can't help them anymore. They can't, clean up and enter recovery. Some people feel like it's creating less safe conditions, a harm reduction model. It's a hard conversation. And in my since my 6 years now, since the large homeless encampment here called the Wall of Forgotten Natives, I've kind of avoided this conversation just because it tears us apart. But now at the community level, we're getting to a place where we can really figure this out and at least establish one position on the community's behalf toward MUD, because it really, the mayor answered a question last night that, wasn't my favorite answer, but it was about this. He's like, well, there's enough people in the community that support bulldozing camps, scraping, they call it scraping homeless camps, which is the opposite of harm reduction. And he said, and so because of the community's ambiguity, it's hard for us to communicate outward what what kind of resources, what kind of support, what kind of help we really need. And so in this subcommittee of MUD that I chair, we're finally digging into that. And I'm glad. It's a hard conversation. It's hard, but it's worthwhile.
It really is. It really, truly is, because there's so many different veins to it, I guess is one way to put it. But I know that's a lot better news, Robert, than we've talked about in the past when it comes to the federal, state, and county pointing the fingers to, and the city pointing the fingers at each other that they should be taking care of our unsheltered relatives and in a good way.
Right.
And now we're moving towards something, at least, right?
But something at the community level and then at the jurisdictional level, city, state, county, region, all of these governments, and through a lot of pushing on behalf of the community by the Metropolitan Urban Indian Directors, we have established this table that has all those jurisdictions, that's half the people, and then community organizational leadership, that's half the people. We've all come to the table, agreed to quit pointing fingers, agreed that we all have resources that we can better collaborate and leverage to best serve our relatives, acknowledge that this is not an issue just of housing or chemical health or physical health or mental health. It's about spiritual connection. It's about economic development, jobs, education. And so we need to build a better system. And it's taken about 5-6 years for us to finally get to this point where the jurisdictions and community are together without pointing fingers, without any predetermined outcomes, but trying to figure out how can we build a better system. And on the community side, we say we can help you help us. We can help build out a better system, but we don't have the authorities or the resources to do it. We need you. And so that's happening as well. So you're seeing growth on the community side, growth on the public sector side. So this kind of system change is hard, but worthwhile.
Hey, we're here with Robert Lilligren, CEO of Native American Community Development Institute, and our secret guest coming on Saturday at 1 o'clock at Pride in Loring Park. We'll be right back after this short break.
Think your company's safe? Your staff is working from home, right? As I speak, cyber criminals are mounting attacks across the country. Remember, when we're weakest, cyber criminals attack. Hi, Mark Sommerfeld from Rymark. The Rymark team is guiding our clients through these difficult times. In fact, demand has been so high, we created an easy-to-follow guide. It's yours free. Download our 5 steps to securely work from home now at rymarkit.com or call 651-328-8900 for a no-cost how-to discussion.
It's finally summer and Pride season. To kick it off, Rainbow Road in Minneapolis has lots of new lines of fresh, fun, and memorable clothes and swimwear. If you want to be lit, you've got to come and see this great new merchandise. Show off some skin at Pride this year. And don't forget to get your rainbow gear before you go out to the 39 Pride festivals all across Minnesota. You'll need 39 new outfits. Get it at The Road, 109 West Grand Street in Minneapolis near Loring Park.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Rest. June is here, which means you might be having a graduation party at your house soon. Summer also means sleepovers. Your kids are going to be at the playground, at the water park, at the beach. There's going to be a lot of mess coming into the house over the summer, and you need to call my cleaning heroes at Zero Rest to make sure your home is in order for the summer. And since June is here, it's time to take advantage of Zero Rest's best deal of the summer. Zero Rest can take care of any surface in your home or business, including carpet, tile, hardwood, rugs, upholstery, and air ducts. This month, take 20% off all services when you call my friends at Zero Res 9520-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com. Just tell them you want the AM 950 special. Their prompt, courteous team will come out and take care of you. Again, that's 20% off all services this month. Go to ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 9520-RES and ask for the AM 950 special. Zero Res, backward or forward, spells the same.
Find a wide selection of outdoor hearth products at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Whether you prefer wood or gas, Woodland Stoves has the fire to fit your home. Pizza aficionados know nothing matches masonry oven baking for capturing flavor and nutrition. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces can easily install one in your home or business. Enthusiasts use these ovens year-round for bread making, wood roasting, even grilling.
The mission and passion of Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces is to make the fire work for you. The way humans relate to fire is primordial. We have used fire to warm our bodies, cook our meals, and kindle our spirits. Our team has the know-how to do this in a clean burning and environmentally smart way. Visit our store and experience the diversity. We have over 35 working units on display at the corner of Riverside and East Franklin. See us online at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that fits and works for you.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Art Center, an art space that's more than the spoon and cherry. Galleries celebrate contemporary visual art, including Indigenous artists like Edgar Heap of Birds, Cheyenne and Arapaho Nation, and Jim Demini, Ojibwe. Additionally, films screen in the cinema, and performances are shown on stage. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. A slight chance of rain in the evening with an overnight low of 60, then Friday cloudy with a high of 76. Right after the Pride Parade this Sunday, head to the AM 950 booth for a special 2 p.m. live broadcast of the Downright Upright Show with Philip Anthony, followed at 3 by a special Pride edition of The Gailey Show. Celebrate live on air and in person with AM 950's booth at Pride.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, we have our friend Robert Lilligren on, CEO of Native American Community Development Institute here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis. And Robert, I just got to give myself a pat on the back. I don't think I've messed up Native American Community Development Institute.
You're on a roll, Robert. Keep it up. Now you have to work on NACDI. That's what really seems to trip you up.
This reminds me of our old conversations before we pre-recorded years ago on our 2-hour show.
Yeah. That was fun. That was a good time.
Yeah, I had a great time. Prior to our recording, we'd have really a lot of good talks. Hey, let's stay a little local right now. And I know, geez, this officer passed away who was really connected community. I wonder if you could talk to our listening audience a little bit about her.
Yeah, she was a huge ally. Her name was Beverly Rodriguez. She was a sergeant with our Metro Transit Police Department. And she was a real innovator, community-based person. Metro Transit Police established what's called the Homeless Action Team, or HAT. And it combines sort of housing resources and staff, housing outreach, and MPD. It had a vehicle. It went around in the community. Sergeant Rodriguez had a great rapport with our unsheltered relatives and our opioid-using relatives. She showed up. She was at all kinds of community events, community tables where we were trying to figure out how to address safety and the safety of our unsheltered relatives and opioid-using relatives. Beverly Rodriguez was her name, and she drowned last weekend in a very freakish accident. You probably heard about it on the news before you even knew it was her. But on White Bear Lake, one of our signature lakes here in the Twin Cities, and it's really hit the community kind of hard because it is not all that common to have that kind of community rapport with law enforcement. But she was the real deal, and so there's services today, tomorrow, recognizing her work, but it's kind of sad. In Metro Transit, our largest transit provider here, is a service of the Metropolitan Council, and I serve as a representative on Metropolitan Council here, and so it's kind of hit the family, a kind of feeling. And I can report, it was just announced last night, that posthumously she was promoted to a lieutenant.
Oh, wow! And I appreciate you talking about this, because this is things that really affect our community here, and it's always good to give credit to people that really are all around good to everybody in in a job of kind of power. So it's really, really I appreciate you talking about her in a good way.
Yeah, it's hard loss for the community.
Right. I wonder if we can we're gonna have Ruth and Anna Buffalo on a little later in this segment, and we're gonna maybe you and I can grill her on some questions at the same time. But I wanted to talk a little bit about ICE and what's happening, and I am so confused by seeing all these videos of all these people wearing jeans, not wearing masks,
no uniform,
and kidnapping people, Robert.
That's essentially what it is, right? For me, it kind of evokes the boarding school era, right? Just taking people where, going to where they are, where they should feel safe, home, work, courts, and just taking them. And I don't know what I would do if a person without a uniform wearing a mask came and tried to abduct me. I wouldn't go quietly, and so this is hard, like you said, confusing for me with this and the war and everything else that's going on. It just reinforces this idea that Trump has no interest in being president. His real objective is to destroy our democracy. He's doing a great job of that. And, I just wonder what foreign power he's operating under.
Yeah. Well, I just, can the police stand up to these people? I mean, these guys seem like they're, bounty hunters. They don't have any credentials. And if they were bounty hunters, what they're doing is totally illegal.
Right. Well, at last night's Minneapolis mayoral candidate forum, there was a really cool kind of rapid fire technique they use from time to time, where the candidates just held up a sign that said yes or no. And the question came up, do you think that the Minneapolis police operated outside their local authorities when they helped ICE with the raid on East Lake Street here in the heart of the Latino community? And every challenger held up yes sign, and the incumbent mayor, Fry, held up the no sign. And that was really telling. A couple of his no sign answers were the most telling, I think, responses of the evening.
So help me get that straight again. So they were saying, would you help ICE or not, or was it appropriate how the Minneapolis police dealt with ICE helping them?
Yeah. So it was, were they helping? What they were doing appropriate for the local police to do, or were they helping ICE? And the challenger candidates all said yes, they were helping ICE. Right. And the mayor said no, they weren't helping ICE. And that's kind of telling, right? He was the only no response there.
Well, what about our lying eyes watching what happened? There were so many of our relatives. I had like 3 computers on, or 3 screens open, watching live.
Right. Yeah, this was going on. I was in the office at NACDI, and I was in the conference room doing something, and my coworkers were in the front office watching this, and it was just, I couldn't believe it. I had to come out and say, "What are you looking at?" It was so loud and so triggering and so violent. It was really shocking.
So do you think, and again, I know this is just your opinion, but do you think that was a trial in here in a blue state or a blue city, that ICE was trying to see how far they could get away with this? And was that your feeling?
Yeah, for sure. And it's ICE, but of course it's the Trump administration, right? They're operating under orders. So I think we should always make sure that's in our thinking. This is what Trump wants, but it's just to create confusion, to create distrust. I think these are sort of trial balloons, to see what will happen in different communities. They have the they have the superior guns and firepower. There was like a military effort here, right? There were these tank-like vehicles there, and so it's trying. I'm sure, you know, and it's pushing that envelope, right? So you push it this far now, and then next time, do they push it further? And then a little further, and we'll see. But the response here has been really impressive. You know, there's been marches on the Capitol. There were the No Kings demonstrations across the state here, and so you know, hopefully, you know, as Trump chisels away his base, which he does every single day, he doesn't have any way to replenish it, right? It's this finite number of people, and so the more that he shrinks it, the more apparent it is he has no mandate to be president in this country.
Well, one of the things too, I think Kamala and any clear-minded person, when he said we just want to get the bad guys out and arrest the robbers and the rapists and the drug dealers, this is really definitely not what's happening now.
Right. ICE goes to a lot of places of employment, right? People who are actually working. I don't care whether they have documentation or not. They're doing a job. They're fulfilling a service. They're paying taxes. And that's completely opposite to this idea that we're going after the bad guys, the criminals and things. These are honest working people that deserve our support.
Yeah, definitely. So what are our next steps? I know when you listen to, well, I shouldn't say listen to, because it's really hard to listen to mainstream media who's really normalizes these things, are not really asking the right questions. They're firing people, whether it's CNN or MSNBC, that have been really asking the right questions. So corporate media is alive and well, and I guess what I want to say,
it's alive. I wouldn't say it's well, Robert. It's alive.
Good. Thank you. And I just want to give a shout out to Civic Media and AM 950, the stations that are progressive, that run our show and many other progressive shows, because it's hard, and it's some days it's hard to get out of bed and do this and pick up the microphone. But then we got guests like you that are really bringing the truth and what's happening in our community. And I think by talking about it really helps.
Yeah, I think you give me too much credit, but I agree. It's knowing the source of the information that you're getting, you know, that it's not propaganda, that, you know, we have a perspective, right? But I've never said anything on this show that I wasn't factual, that I didn't understand was factual, you know, and so you say, what's next? And I don't have the answers, but it's to find like-minded people. You know, I'm an organizer by inclination, by profession, essentially. And so it's to find like-minded people, keep coming together. And I feel like for Native people, it's to really continue to embrace community. You know, we have such strength and so many assets in our community. And so to stay together, to respect each other, to come together in a good way, respect each other's roles. And, you know, I've made a determination at the start of this Trump administration, I'm going to continue to look for the joy, right? I can't do this work if I don't feel like there isn't joy at the end of the conversation, you know, at the end of this. And so, you know, with Native people, laughter is medicine, right? So find that laughter, especially Native women's laughter. So I feel like, you know, there's going to be an element of coping right through this administration, but I think there can be a progress and growth as well.
Hey, Robert, could you stay on for another segment? Ruth is just jumping on, but we got to take a quick break. Do you mind?
I'll stay on for a little bit of that. I love me some Ruth Buffalo.
Right on. Well, I'm working you hard because you missed last week.
I know.
I appreciate you. We'll be right back with Ruth Ann Buffalo, and Robert Lilligren.
Signing up for $1 bus and train rides with the Transit Assistance Program, or TAP, is quick and easy. Do it straight from your computer or phone by uploading one of the pre-approved documents listed at metrotransit.org/TAP, along with a copy of your ID. We'll mail you a to-go card with a full year of discounted rides. For questions or translation help, call 612-373-3333. 612-373-3333.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Your heart beats for generations. Take care of it.
There's a lot that we can do to take care of ourselves. And so I think it's important to take the smaller steps and break it down into more manageable pieces, because the little steps leads to big changes.
Every beat of your heart tells a story of love, resilience, and hope. For Indigenous women, taking care of your heart means creating more moments with the ones you cherish. Let's protect that story. Learn more at hennepin.us/heart-beats.
Rudy Luther Toyota has a great way for you to purchase your next vehicle. It's the Toyota Smart Path. You can shop at the dealership or on your couch. Shop smarter by saving time, and remember, they'll have the best prices and no surprises. You can browse the available vehicles, use the Smart Path payment estimator to customize your own payments, apply for financing, and then finalize your purchase. Smart Path is the smartest path to your new vehicle. Check it out online at rudyluthertoyota.com or stop by Rudy Luther Toyota, 5 miles west of Minneapolis on 394.
Anine, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We have Ruth Anna Buffalo on with us, Robert. And before we start grilling Ruth and what she's doing, I want to just have a conversation with you, Robert, for a quick second, and that's how excited and important and grateful we are to have Ruth back in our community.
I agree. I say it all the time. Ruth is such an asset here. She's only been back at the head of Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center for a year, a little over a year maybe, but such an enhancement to the leadership here in the Twin Cities. And I can't tell you how many online meetings I've been with Ruth where she's in her car. So you can tell she's always going somewhere.
Welcome, Ruth. Those were great words from Robert, and he's really good to work with too. And I appreciate him coming on and, correcting me and my lack of being able to say NACDI and things like that.
Well done. That was good. You got one.
But yeah, really good to see you, Ruth. And I know you're usually on Tuesday, and we had a different guest on, and I wanted to make sure we could touch base with you and talk about, what Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center is doing and any update you'd like to give us.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Dosha. Hello, and Madzigidads. Thank you for having me on again to represent MIWRC. And thank you, Robert, for the kind words. And, yeah, it's both Roberts. That's why I'm like Robert Lilligren and Robert Pilot. But yeah, it's an honor to be on, to be back into the Twin Cities area. I was, here a long time ago when I was younger, but and then worked as a youth worker for 1 year at DIW in their youth leadership development program, but had made some really good friends down here, and still friends to this day, and to their families and things. So yeah, it's always good to visit and share a few words about what MIWRC is doing. We have a lot of different support groups and programming through family services, through NUJMO, and the drop-in center as well, and upcoming trainings through the Learning Center. And we're gearing up for the opening of our top 2 floors, floors 3 and 4, that are being newly renovated. Our plan and our goal, which is still on target, is to have the 6 tenant spaces occupied, or residents, filled in those 6 tenant units by the end of August. So we're on track there, and we're pretty excited. We have moved from 14 2 to 3 bedroom units to 24 units. 20 will be efficiencies and 4 will be single units. And so we're gearing up for those units, to be supportive housing and all of the things that come with it. So yeah, we're just doing a lot of coordination and collaboration for sure.
Well, Robert, I'm hoping with the grand opening of these units that there is a cakewalk, because that's one of the things that Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center has brought back in a good way.
I would love it. I would love it. I'm going to say good night so you can spend some time with Ruth. Ruth, it's lovely to see you. Lovely to share this space. And I'm sure I'll see you in the community very soon.
Okay, sounds good.
See you.
Right on. Thank you so much, Robert, and we'll see you Saturday at Pride. Ho!
I might be wearing my Resist T-shirt. We shall see.
I know I am.
Right.
We can be twins and take selfies. Oh,
take care.
Thanks again. Wow, that was great. Yeah, we had Robert on earlier, and I just thought I'd have him come on. And he's like he said, he's in a lot of meetings with you, but he's seeing what you do, and it's great to have and be able to amplify your work, Ruth Anna. We really appreciate talking about what's happening at Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center.
Cool, thank you. It's definitely a team community effort, and anything that we're doing, it's, with the community and for the community. So just here to carry out our responsibilities of being good relatives to one another for sure.
Well, and I know you guys really, really help the community. And geez, just a few days ago, it doesn't seem that long because we've had so much rain, but it was 1,000,000 degrees out, and our relatives, our unsheltered relatives, you were helping out with.
Yeah, we try to help or provide support where we can, for sure during inclement weather, and with opening the doors this past winter with the very cold winter weather. But we definitely are providing support when and where we can. And so we still offer the Tuesday weekly Resource Connect from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., where breakfast and lunch is provided. And then we also have service providers on site. And then Monday, Thursday, Fridays, breakfast from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And Indigenous Peoples Task Force provides lunch on Wednesdays in the community room gym space. And this is where all of the meals are served. And so we're working to really help with the coordination of getting people connected to resources, including treatment, mental health, behavioral health, and housing for sure.
Yeah, that's again because of the great work you do, and we're always in need of help and funds, and we have a really giving audience. I'd like to have you give out how people can support your work, and all the people. In the past few weeks, we've had a lot of people that work with you that come on, and there's just a plethora of so many people helping.
Yes, for sure. If you're able to help donate, we surely appreciate it at our website, MIWRC.org /donate. Or even when you go to our homepage of MIWRC.org, there will be a pop-up donation link, like a donation tab that shows up, after a few minutes of being on our website. So yeah, you can't miss it.
Cool. So, one of the things, we got a few minutes here, a good few minutes. One of the things, would you like to spotlight anything that Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center has been doing lately, or any upcoming events?
Yeah, gee, there's, so much to cover in such little time, but we're thankful to have a traditional healing practitioner on site who takes appointments. We use an integrative, comprehensive, approach when helping assist the client relatives. We have a elders caregiver support group, which is through our ICWA kinship program. The group is mainly comprised of grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. And then we also have a Native Survivors Empowerment group that meets every other Friday for crafting or just, a time to come together and support one another. And then we have some upcoming trainings too that are scheduled through the Learning Center. And then again, we are assisting with coordination of getting people connected into housing resources, referrals, and all of the things to help help improve the quality of life for our relatives.
I can't amplify enough how important it is to help people go through sometimes a confusing way to get services. So that is so huge to help our relatives navigate there, because sometimes it's really hard to navigate.
Yes, I agree. And there's so much good work happening here in the Twin Cities. And we just want to help support, amplify the good work and make sure that, you know, the relatives get the care that they need and that they deserve.
Yeah, definitely. So one more time, miwrc.org/donate,
Yes.
correct?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, correct.
Well, Ruth Anna, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to have you back on, of course, next week on your regular time so we can talk a lot longer. But I appreciate you coming on, and I want to make sure we get you on this week because of the important work that the organization that you're CEO of, Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, has a voice in the community. So thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, Matsugidads, thank you. We appreciate it. See you.
Great to see you. Thank you so much. Wow, just amazing work. And I just want to say, if you are listening to the show, you are part of the resistance. From Chief Plenty Coops, the ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office. We're still here. We are the 7th generation. I'm so glad that Leonard Peltier is free and out of prison.
Your heart beats for generations.
Your heart is